All right, Nick. Got a chance. Got about as good of a chance as one could ask for on a night like tonight. Got 3 runs. We've only given up 1. Shout out to Hunter Greene. Shout out. Yeah. He's actually throwing the ball pretty damn well, you know? I mean, I know that he won't get credit for that, but how many more starts until he starts to get some real credit? What do you think?
He's not getting real credit?
I just feels like
I thought the Trolls just went back in their hole. I mean,
yeah, I don't know about that.
I saw some positive things.
Oh, you've seen positive things. I haven't seen positive. I mean, I'm saying on X tonight. Yeah, how could you say anything negative? I'm just saying. I don't know how long until people come around on the. He's not like. I'm not claiming him to be Nolan Ryan, but I'm also not going to act like he's terrible either. Just saying. It looks like Grayson.
Kind of wild. You can attend if you need to.
Well, I couldn't find a basketball. Not that I'm trying to get ahead of it, but sometimes you got to prepare, and it was gone. So I went upstairs and I was like, "Does anyone know?" And Grayson seemed to have an idea. Your kids old enough yet to say? Are your kids old enough yet to say they think they know something when you know that they actually know?
Oh yeah.
Do you know where this went? I think I might have seen that, and then it magically appears 5 minutes later. So, all right. I know we're way behind. Chat, I got to put you away. I got Nick like 6 pitches behind because I'm on YouTube TV tonight. By the way, this isn't Bally or Fubo. This is straight tube TV. So I made Nick like pause for what seemed like 2 minutes. Well behind. That's a strike, right? Yeah. Okay. No way.
Jacob Hurtubise.
Thank you.
Jacob Hurtubise.
Thank you, Jacob. Thank you.
You know who doesn't make that catch?
No, we're not going to talk about it. We all know. We all know who doesn't make that catch. We all do know.
Thank you, CES, for being hurt.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, you're probably right.
I mean, he wouldn't be out there.
No, you're right. That another one, Nick? That's another one? Who's got it? Somebody needs to call it. Oh, yeah. I tell you what, man. Our center fielders, boy, I'll tell you from time to time. It's fine. Let Hurtubise get them all then. Let's just see if we can't let the last one pop out to left.
4 pitches, 2 outs. Is this real life?
Come on. Just give me one more, Nick. Just need another one. Oh, he's pumping them strikes, dude. Chat, we got 2 outs. In our world, we got 2 outs. You might, hopefully, you're already ended it, but I don't know. What a pitch, dude! This guy. By the way, Hernandez not seeing the. I'll just shut up. I'll say it after it's over. I'll say it. Come on! Oh God, he is. All right. Knock it down, baby. Make it look easy. Woo! Woohoo! Nick, I don't know if you know this, but that's 2 in a row. That's 2 in a row.
Just took the Dodgers coming it down.
I mean, I don't know the last time this ball club won 2 in a row. It's the first time since April 23rd and the 24th. God love the Cincinnati Reds, and God love this intro.
Johnny Bench has tied it up. The Cincinnati Reds win the World Series in 4 straight. It was a sweep.
In the dirt, it's a wild pitch. Here comes Foster. The Reds win the pennant.
Hawkins won the game.
That ball is fair. Cincinnati's ahead
Benzinger backing and calling. And the 1990 World Championship belongs to the Cincinnati Reds.
Marty, yes. This is Adam from Milwaukee. Hey, Adam, how you doing? I'm good. How are you? Good. Do you think Scott Chatterbox is a good player?
Done up there with the bases loaded, the outfield deep and around toward right, and the 1-0 on the way to the plate. Swung on, long drive, right field, and this one belongs to the Reds.
And a high drive, hit back into deep right field. Junior has just knocked the door down to the 500 club.
Benson's first home run is a walk-off winner. That ball had a family.
And De La Cruz is, oh my goodness, look at this kid run. My, oh my, that is a triple.
Matt McClain's first big league bomb.
Spencer Steer's first big league hit is a home run to straightaway center field. Joey Votto's done it again.
The pitch. Votto swings high in the air. Right field. Yes! He pointed to the dugout to say, I told you. That is Joey Votto's 315th career go-ahead ribby. Only Johnny Bench had more as a Red.
And I can't tell you how much it means to play in front of everyone here in Cincinnati as a Red. What a gift. What a tremendous gift. So thank you. Thank you.
I think I can speak for all of Reds country. Joey Votto, thank you.
High drive, left center field, racing back to the Laurent Bourgeois. The Reds are National League Central Division champions. In the air, left center field. Did he? He did! He did! Red win! Win! Line to right field. Junior, the first Red ever with 4 home runs in a game. Can you believe it? In the air, down the right field line. Doesn't have a chance. The Reds have won on a 3-run home run on opening day by Ramon Hernandez. A strike away and out away is Homer Bailey. Ground ball to third. Frazier gloves. Throw to first, and Homer Bailey, for the second time in his major league career, has tossed a no-hitter. Oh, gosh. Oh, are you kidding me? Holy Moses, the second player in major league history to hit 7 home runs in the first 10 games. In the air, and the Reds win. What a dream beginning to the career of Trey Bruce.
Now, I want to get out ahead of it and say that's an ice cold Coke. Pilsners might be out today. Might have ran out of those. But for good reason. And that is because the Cincinnati Reds are victorious. They have won a series for once and for all. You know what? Some are saying tomorrow isn't a must-win, but I'm saying it would be nice. Nick, we're going to enjoy tonight because that's what we do on nights like tonight. Chatterbox Reds. A winning edition, Nick. A winning edition. I see the smile. I can see the gleam. I can see the glistening in your eyes.
Yeah, it's good to be back. If they win tomorrow, I think Coke has to be the official Coca-Cola. I should clarify.
Careful.
Needs to be the official replacement for the Pilsner. We also, I have to go back to yesterday after the show. I waited. I did my due diligence. I ain't jinxing anything in these times. But we got a super chat after the show from Daniel Myers. Spent $4.99 saying I wasn't able to watch live tonight, but I'm donating for Fireball for the next win. So I know you have Coke. But Daniel says no. Daniel says no. He's already on the fund.
Well, the good news is that's handy. That's handy. We'll get to that in a little bit. Okay, we gotta save some for the show here. All right. We're gonna get into the box score recap as we always do, Nick. But we'll give kind of an overarching, I guess, our holistic thoughts, and then we'll jump into the weeds here in just a moment. But I do want to do some supers here really quickly. Dalton says, I believe that we just took 3 from the Dodgers. We did. That's 3 of them. But I'm more focused on the fact that we got 2 of 3, and we got a chance tomorrow to make it 3 of 3. And 3 of 3 to me feels like we're on to something. We might have a chance. Puncher's chance. We survived maybe the round. We're beaten up a little bit. Got the cut man in the corners, got some work to do. But at least we made the bell. At least we got to go sit on the seat again. Nick, I don't know. Where are you at? I mean, you're always even keeled. Are you feeling today was a good, clean win, you know?
Yeah, I saw a whole lot of those. I'm still trying to process what I just watched from Alexis Diaz. I was not ready to do a show this quick. Usually
Right.
you have some time during the top of the 9th when Diaz comes out. You're like, all right, there's a base runner, and he was owed him 4 pitches and 2 outs, and then even Jonathan India made a spectacular play to throw out the runner to end the ball game. I mean,
yeah, kept it in front, baby.
Yeah, that's what they teach you. But that's what we're teaching the little leaguers right now.
That's right.
Keep the ball in front of you. He did it. He made the play.
That's right. That's what they do. The Big Red Machine. I have always said that I love the Big Red Machine. Tell you what. He said, I want you to put the word out that we back up. We're back up. Now we might be. Hunter Greene, he's out here rocking the cutoff hoodies. Shout out to Hunter. We'll get to him in just a moment. But as always, we're going to stick to the old script, as they say. We're going to do the box score recap, and we have a deep drive of the day. I know we got a deep drive of the day. Honest fan, the leader, he's the leader of the Will Benson fan club. Now, I don't know if Will Benson got the honors, but if he did, I know one person that's significantly happy, and that's Honest fan in the chat. So, Nick, do your best with the box score recap.
All right, Hunter Greene against Walker Buehler. Really good pitching matchup on Saturday Night Baseball, or Baseball Night in America, whatever they call it on Fox. Bottom of the first, Spencer Steer homered for a second straight day. Just barely got this one out to the first row in left field. 1-0 Reds. Top of the second, big spot in this game. Hunter Greene gave up 2 weak singles and then a walk to load the bases with no one out for Jason Hayward. On the 8th pitch of the at-bat to Hayward, Hunter Greene got him to ground into a double play. Tying run did score, but then Greene got Kiki Hernandez to ground out to limit the damage and get out of that inning with the score tied. Bottom of the second, Will Benson crushed a solo home run to the opposite field, 2-1 Reds. And the game would stay 2-1 going into the 6th. Shohei Ohtani was 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts against Greene this season, but Ohtani finally got one of the splitters that Greene threw him, smoked it down the right field line for a triple. But then Hunter Greene bared down, got Freeman to hit a shallow fly ball to left to Hurtubise, not nearly deep enough to score Ohtani. And then he got Will Smith to pop out to end the inning. Hunter Greene went 6 innings, 5 hits, 1 run, just 1 walk, 5 strikeouts. Hunter Greene, a 1.95 ERA through his last 6 starts. Those 6 starts coming against the Dodgers, the Diamondbacks, the Orioles, and the Rangers. Yes, all playoff teams from last season. In the bottom of the 6th, Jacob Hurtubise led off with a double, and then Elly De La Cruz singled him home for a big insurance run. That ended an 0 for 15 skid for Elly, 3-1 Cincinnati. And the Reds turned it over to the bullpen, and boy, did they deliver. Top of the 7th, Fernando Cruz struck out 2 in a scoreless inning. Top of the 8th, Sam Moll, 1-2-3, striking out Ohtani to end the inning. And the top of the 9th, maybe the cleanest inning we've ever seen from Alexis Diaz. He went 1-2-3. The Red streak of 8 straight series losses is over. Reds win back-to-back games for the first time since April 23rd and 24th. And wouldn't you know it, it came against the Dodgers, who lost their 4th straight game for the first time since June 2023. Reds now sit at 22-30 on the season.
And boy, do we have a deep drive. And I told you, Honest fan's going to be fired up about it. Will Benson, 104.7 off the bat, 411, no doubter, bottom of the 2nd, and that would give the Reds a lead that they would not relinquish. The win probability at the time would jump up 11% and give the Reds a 62% chance. And as we all know, it would turn into 100%. DSC, they are the sponsor of the Deep Drive of the Day, and they are a leader in renewable commodities for biofuel production, specializing in used cooking oil collection, aggregation, and sales. Visit www.deepsouthcommodities.com for more information, and thank you to John and his friends. John's getting shout-outs now, and DSC's getting shout-outs now on the X app. People are fired up that they're getting their money's worth. Because, I mean, there for a while, we were going to the Arizona Complex League. I'm not behooven to remember those days because it wasn't that long ago. Maybe a week and a half ago, we were dipping our toes in the Arizona. Oh, what was it? What's it called? The ACL. I think that's that's the term we use here. Yeah. Shout out to Stafura. Is that his name? Sure.
Funny story. Because we don't really know the Arizona Complex League exactly what happens. There's no broadcast of that. Right. Our last deep drive of the day was actually an inside the park home run.
Oh, even nice, even better.
And who knows how that who knows exactly what kind of shenanigans were involved in that?
Yeah, nobody does know. Nobody does know. All right, let's jump into it. It's a series win. The first one, I think I said since late April. And if you're not keeping track, it is now late May. And I series wins certainly feel good in real time, but it's one of those things, Nick, and we've talked about it before, where it's like it's a morale booster maybe more than anything else, because at this point you feel like they're going to have to go on a winning streak of some stretch of the imagination. Now, whether it's going to be 12-plus games or not, I don't know, but it does feel like they're going to have to go on a 7, 8, 9-game winning streak to get themselves back into a position where maybe you could be you can compare yourself to last year at some point this season, And I mean, when I say compare yourself to last season, have a chance at the postseason at the midway point and or beyond. So, I don't want to sit here and act like we need to hang a banner because we won a series against the Dodgers. But I do want to say, I think, and I've said it before, I think this is where you can make up ground on the lost ground we had prior, which is win series and or sweep series. You had no business when you looked at the schedule of winning and or sweeping. So they got a chance tomorrow. I know people are going to write them off dead, but they got a chance tomorrow.
Well, it just felt like the Reds got the monkey off their back. I mean, it just felt like every time, all right, they've lost 5 series in a row. They've lost 6 series in a row, 7, now 8. And it just felt like it was piling on and almost kind of felt sort of eerily similar. Two totally different situations, but it kind of felt like back in the beginning of 2022 when the Reds started 3-22 and just like every loss just kept magnifying more and more, and the bad vibes and everyone just piling on. So just to kind of get this one out of the way, and against the Dodgers, that's baseball for you. These last 2 games are a good reminder not to make too big of a deal out of any 1 or 2 or 3 individual games. Now, the Reds over the last month and a half, it's not been good. I'm not saying that is, but on a day-to-day basis, you have to remember, like, things happen in baseball that just don't really make a lot of sense. The Reds shouldn't go win 2 in a row against the Dodgers, but they do. The Reds shouldn't have lost 5 out of 6 to the Diamondbacks, but they did. Sometimes there's some weird fluky things in baseball. Hopefully, though, some of the things that have just not been going the Reds' way, hopefully somehow it starts evening out. You can't predict that will happen, but you hope it does, because if it does, the Reds could get back in the race this year.
And the only way they're going to get back in the race is if some of these guys play at a higher level than they've been playing prior. Hunter Greene, we'll jump into him first. He's been producing at a high level, as you just mentioned to start the show off, what seemed like the past basically month and a half, and really for the most part all year long, right? The gripe with Hunter Greene, and I'm not saying it's a wrongful gripe. I'm just saying the gripe from most folks that are on the pessimistic side of Hunter Greene is really his pitch effectiveness and or efficiency, whichever term you want to use. But he's never really gotten hit extremely hard this year. There's been times in the past, certainly last year at times, and even certainly the year prior, to where, again, to be clear, he's gotten hit really hard. I don't think that's been the case this year. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you can go point to one game, but it just feels like he's been effective. It's just he's not been maybe efficient. And he's starting to become more and more efficient, certainly over the past 6, 7, 8 starts. Which, again, at this point, are there any holes in his game if he's able to have command of both of those pitches? And the both pitches I'm talking about are the slider and the fastball. Tonight he threw this. I don't know if you have it on front of you. It felt like, at least during the broadcast, that he was kind of throwing the splitter. What seemed to be maybe it was in bigger spots, and that's why I noticed it. But it seemed like he was trying to forcefully kind of make it an attempt to push that on there. I don't know if you have the numbers in front of you to back that up. But I just thought, again, his command looked good, and he competed. And the biggest thing he did was obviously get out of some jams, some big-time jams. He got out of them every single time.
Yeah, he threw the splitter 12 times in this game. It feels like he's kind of figuring out that he can just get by with his four-seam fastball and slider, and then he mixes in the splitter when he needs an extra pitch. It felt like maybe early in the year he was trying to force these two new extra pitches, where now what's working for him, and he might have to adjust again. Like he's his pitcher. It's a constant game of adjustments. He might have to mix it up a little bit more, but right now he's like, I can get by with these two. I'm facing a guy like Ohtani. I need a put-away pitch. That's what I'm going to throw the slider. And Ohtani was having a hard time hitting it. Did finally hit one. He left it a little bit in the middle of the zone. But yeah, I mean, Hunter Greene right now, he's an all-star caliber pitcher at 24 years old. It's pretty wild that right now the two best pitchers on the Reds, at least the two best healthy pitchers, are the two 24-year-olds, the two youngest ones. Hunter Greene and Andrew Rappert, they're the two youngest ones on the staff, both two guys who took very different career paths to get to where they're at, but they're the Reds' two best pitchers right now. And yeah, I mean, Hunter, he's just, I thought he would improve this year. I was as optimistic as anyone. I didn't think he'd be going this deep into games this early. I thought that would improve, but I didn't see a drastic leap. And that might come back down to earth. But today, to go 6 innings against the Dodgers team you just saw last week, a team that it was very clear, like that at bat by Jason Hayward, he was just trying to foul off pitches. They were trying to run Hunter Greene's pitch count up, and that's a pretty smart strategy with the way the Reds bullpen has pitched of late. For him to get through 6 innings today, one of the more impressive things that I think he's done, just that in itself all year.
Well, the Reds have already discussed that they're probably going to do a bullpen type style game tomorrow, right? And I do think that some of the strategy from the Dodgers tonight was to try to make sure that if they were going to try to do that tomorrow, why not maybe dip into the well a little bit tonight and make sure that tomorrow you have a chance to certainly get a worn out or depleted bullpen. And Hunter Greene, again, we had mentioned in one of his previous starts, I think it might have been his last start, where he saved the bullpen. He did not have more than a couple guys have to come in and perform out of the bullpen, and it allowed them to win the next day. It became a very, very apparent thing that was important the next day. Now, again, I'm not trying to say that if the Reds win tomorrow, it's because Hunter Greene, or point to Hunter Greene and say it's all because of him. But it's a small part that he's playing that allows them the next day to be somewhat fresh. I mean, if he goes out and throws 4 or 5 innings, the reality is the Reds probably aren't going to win, yeah? But more importantly as well is that now they're going to be finding themselves in a position tomorrow where they don't want to be in at all, because they're already, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, Nick, but the last I had heard was the plan tomorrow was to throw multiple arms. So, but anyways, my point still stands about Hunter in his situation where he's, and I do want to say, I think it'll probably level out a little bit in regards to some of this efficiency that he's had late. But I also think he's had some very unfortunate luck too, what seems like in some starts, even dating into last year, where there was soft hit balls, guys were fisting base hits, and nobody wanted to listen to the fact that Hunter Greene was getting a little unlucky, because ultimately he would only throw 5 innings or 4 1/3 innings, and nobody wanted to hear about how some of it was because he has a bad defense behind him, and some of it's because a guy broke his bat and it extended an inning and it cost him an extra 25 pitches. So, it'll probably marry itself somewhere in the middle of those two, and hopefully at this point it's a little more closer to what we see now than what was, I guess the unlucky stage of his pitching.
As a Hunter Greene fan and a Hunter Greene believer, I'm happy that hopefully he's at least bought himself a little bit of grace now the next time he has a bad start. The next time he has a game like Seattle where he only gets through 4 innings, I hope that Twitter doesn't have to burn to the ground because he struggled. I hope that he's at least earned himself a little bit of grace because he deserves that. And he's pitched his tail off for a team that has not played very well through the first 51 games of the year. Hunter Greene has performed as good as you could have really ever hoped this year.
Correct. All right, let's jump into the two guys that homered tonight. Benson, he seems like a feast or famine guy at this point, right? I don't want to compare him to Jay Bruce because I think that would be a little disrespectful to Jay. But it does. I would be lying to say maybe it's the left-handed swinging, but I would be lying to say that it doesn't feel like that's what we're going to get out of Benson at this point. Like we're either going to get a great month of baseball and then we're going to get a terrible month of baseball, and maybe in between we'll find a way to become a little more consistent. But again, I'm not making much out of the night out of Will Benson. He had a good night though. He had a good night.
He had a good night. Also drew a really nice walk. In his second plate appearance, I think 8 pitches against Buehler in the fifth inning. So yeah, look, I don't know why Will Benson, for whatever reason, seems to pick up his game against the Dodgers. This was the spot where it felt like it turned last year.
It did.
Not almost the same time of the year. I think maybe that was early June. It wasn't that far away from where we're at right now. So look, let's stop complaining about ever where David Bell puts him in the lineup. I think it's probably better just to leave Will at the bottom of the lineup right now. He seems like he's more comfortable there. I'm not saying he can't ever be a top of the order hitter, but it's pretty clear to me that he's performed significantly better towards the bottom of the lineup where there's less pressure on him. I think with Will, it's far more mental than it is anything else. But again, he's not been he hasn't been great. He's been disappointing. I was talking with someone earlier today. Last year he had a 142 weighted runs created plus against right-handed pitching. This year coming in today, it was 100. It certainly went up today. So he's not been terrible. 100 is average. You expected more. So let's see him get back into a role. I hope that make Nick Martini play against lefties, make Jake Fraley play against lefties, make someone else. Don't give him any extra games where, he's going to struggle, where we know he's not going to be successful. I think Jake Fraley can wear an 0 for 4 better than Will Benson at this point. I think Nick Martini can wear an 0 for 4 better than Will Benson. And hopefully that can kind of help get him back on track because he's a big part of this team. If this team's going to go anywhere, they need Will Benson.
Yeah, there was a short sequence of events in this baseball game that made a big difference, right? You have Spencer Steer jumping into him here, where he gets the Reds on the board. Kind of again, anytime you take a lead, you have some vote of confidence of like, oh, you know what, we can hang with these guys. We belong here. And then the top of the second rolls around, right? And you have a situation where you just got the lead and you're about to what feels like relinquish it. It feels like there's a chance to where it kind of goes south. And shout out to Hunter Greene, man. He avoided some big-time damage, gets a double play ball, allows the game to stay tied at 1-1, and then from there you move forward, and then obviously Benson takes care of it and gives the Red the 2-1 lead, and they would go on to win. So, it just again, you forget about all the small nuances. If you're a Dodgers fan tonight, you're probably like, you had every chance in the world, to win this game, and you just couldn't quite capitalize. And it's nice to see the Reds on the other side of that. It just feels like for the last month, it's been the Reds, and every single time they've been in a situation where they could have, if you remember, Nick, we had a series where we could have swept the series if we would have gotten 2 hits. And they were big hit. They would have been big hits, but they came up 0 for both times, and they lost both of the games that otherwise they could have won in the 9th inning with a big time hit. So, It's just again, am I sitting here saying the Reds are back? I'm not personally there yet, but I do feel like at this point, if nothing else, can we get some confidence? If nothing else, can we have some false bravado to us when we walk out on the field and believe that we belong there? Because it felt like we got to a point there for a minute where we did think we were the last place Cincinnati Reds. And I think that at some point you have to start believing that even though you're in last place, you don't really belong there. And you got to go show people why. And I'm starting to think we're turning that corner. Maybe I'm just a fan and getting a little bit ahead of myself, but that confidence, beating the Dodgers, sweeping the Dodgers would be huge. I'm going to keep saying that. I'm going to will that into existence. No pun intended by Will Benson.
It would be huge. I think winning 2 or 3 from the Dodgers is still pretty huge, and
it is.
You got the monkey off your back. You're getting into an easier part of the schedule. Doesn't mean a single thing. Doesn't mean anything, but it doesn't change the fact that you are facing some weaker competition. You hope this is the time when you can get on a roll, because look, you're one stretch away from completely flipping the entire narrative of the season. I mean, as quick as you lost 8 games in a row and it went the other way, you win 8 in a row, or even you win 8 of 10, it flips right back the other way. So they're going to have to have one really good stretch, I believe, at some point. There's plenty of time for it to happen, but it does feel like if it's going to happen, it's going to be over the next couple weeks.
I agree. And I will say, we'll jump into the ads here in just a second, but right before we get to them, I just want to say that Ellie's a guy that's still, at this point, it feels like we're on that, you don't talk about a roller coaster a little bit. It feels like we've been climbing the hill a little bit here with Ellie. Like, I'm waiting for Ellie to just start ripping off a week worth of baseball that's unbelievable and become the National League Player of the Week. Again, am I expecting that out of him? No, but it certainly feels like that's coming at some point soon. And hopefully Benson can get hot. That would be a massive, massive help to this ball club. And there's another outfielder that's been a massive, massive help to this ball club that we will talk about in just a second. But before we do that, we'll talk about the Game Time app. Nick's going to give you the official rundown, but I just want to say something really quickly before he does the official rundown. We also have the 988 hotline in mantherapy.org. And I just wanted to say that I am a golf fan, and today was a wild situation. So not to make a somber situation out of this show, because we don't do that from time to time, but there's a guy named Grayson Murray that unfortunately took his life today. And it's just, I think there's a lot of people in this chat. There's a lot of people that listen to this show. I'm not naive to understanding that life is very, very difficult at times. We try to make this show fun and enjoyable, and hopefully it gives you a pep in your step every single day and you can smile, but always remember that there's people that love you. If you need some help, please seek help. It's okay to do that. 988, text, call, do whatever you need to do. Go to mantherapy.org for more information on being able to find ways to get help. But yeah, it was just kind of a sombering moment today to see that a guy 30 years old, playing professional golf, 28th ranked player in the world, and it doesn't matter. Demons are demons. So, Nick, I think I'm going to go to the game tomorrow. My son has his last 2 soccer games of the year, but I got to be honest. I think I'm going to be a little bit of a selfish person, selfish dad. I'm going to take my other son, and I'm going to go see the Cincinnati Reds play in Ellie De La Cruz. Not Shohei Ohtani and the Dodgers. I'm going to go watch Ellie De La Cruz and the Reds play.
And Nick Martinez and Carson Spires and maybe Brett Kennedy if you're lucky.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what I'm going to go to, Nick? Where do you think I'm going to go to get some tickets? Take a guess?
I have a funny feeling that you're going to go to the Game Time app. And why would you go to the Game Time app? Because it is an authorized ticket marketplace of Major League Baseball.
That's right.
That makes getting tickets even faster and easier. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer it gets to first pitch. They've got killer last-minute deals, all-in pricing, views from your seats, and the lowest price guaranteed. Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets. They have all-in pricing. You can toggle this feature. It shows you the total up front with no surprise fees at checkout. The lowest price guaranteed, or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code CINCI for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. Again, create an account, redeem the code CINCY, CINCY, for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last-minute tickets, like Trace, lowest price guaranteed.
Love it. All right, let's do the bullpen first, because I think Hurtubise is the big time story. We'll talk about him in just a second. But the bullpen, they came in, they did their job. Fernando Cruz, at this point, I'm still going to say, Nick, I think he's without question, the Reds' best reliever. It will be incredibly interesting to see what happens with him moving forward in his career, because he's a guy that obviously started out his career as a shortstop, kind of fizzled out, went and then played independent ball for a couple years, found a splitter that he calls God's pitch, just randomly figured out that he has the ability to throw a splitter, and it's incredibly nasty. And he's resurrected his career. Like, at this point, I don't know how long he can continue to have this sustainability, because he's what is he, 34 years old now? It's not like you feel like he's got 5 or 6 or 7 good more years in him. But at this point, I think he's the Reds' best reliever, and he came in and he did a good job. He set the stage up. And, I know Sam Moll's been kind of, and again, I know Sam Moll's been ridiculed, or people have been second-guessing kind of him as of late. He came in and did the job, then I'm sure we'll finish with Diaz. But your overall thoughts on the bullpen, and then we'll obviously get into some other topics.
Yeah, Fernando Cruz looking like it was just a couple rough games, and he's back on track. I love the role that he's in. I don't want him to be the closer. I think the role that he's in right now is more valuable, where you can throw him wherever you want. He can be the fireman. He can pitch the 7th inning. I love the role that he's in. Do not mess with that, because it's incredibly valuable, especially with a team that right now is playing a lot of one-run games. Let's get to the 9th before we worry about the 9th. Sam Moll, I think they said on the broadcast, first time he had pitched 3 games in a row, or 3 days in a row, in a Reds uniform. So that was cool to see. There have been some questions about his health and his shoulder. So good to see that he's able to pitch 3 days in a row. I think that's pretty cool. And then Alexis Diaz, I'm just going to straight off read a tweet from John Sadak. I love what he calls the game. I love what he doesn't call the game too, because he's on Twitter just dropping nuggets. So Diaz threw 7 pitches. He got 3 outs on 7 pitches. I just want to repeat that. All strikes, Trace. They were all strikes. He threw 7 strikes. Can you believe it?
Yeah, no,
The command was solid. Velocity was up. Entered to the average velocity 93.7 was 95.5. The slider was up from 86.9 to 89.4. So I don't know what they've been working on with him, but the velocity's up. Somehow he threw. I can't even believe he threw 7 pitches and they were all strikes. Like, that just doesn't seem like the Alexis Diaz we've watched. So it's one game. We don't want to make a big deal out of it, but it was one really, really good game from Alexis Diaz, and that's good to see, because, Trace, if you do start getting on a winning streak and you start playing well, the last thing you want to do is have some of these you don't finish, right?
100%. And I would just say maybe, again, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but there's maybe just a thought that perhaps his family has YouTube TV and they don't have any other platform, so they can't ever watch a pitch. So today he realized they were on national TV, so he brought the juice. He brought the juice a little bit. I don't know. It'd be nice. It'd be nice for Diaz. I'm not going to get into it today, but I do think it's very important. Let's just say this. It's very important for the Reds, if there are relievers that they rely on, period, to be good, regardless of whether or not this team can get themselves back in a position at the end of the year to be a part of a postseason conversation or not. It will be very, very significant, for obvious reasons, if their bullpen and a few of their arms are able to be very, very consistent and have them around the trade deadline. I'm just saying. I'm not saying that that's what we should be focused on right now, but again, that is a win at the end of the day. If Fernando Cruz and I would say Fernando Cruz and Diaz specifically, those 2 guys, would be a big deal if they can continue to be good. And one of we'd all like it for the Reds just to keep winning. Yes, not naive to that. All right, a guy that was on nobody's radar to start the year. I know that he had a good year last year in the minors. He's been a story even from the get-go, because he wasn't a very highly touted prospect. Came from West Point. His parents got interviewed his first game when he was in the big leagues, like they always do, on Bally's. And Jim Day was talking to his mom and dad, and his mom just kept emphasizing that they're proud of him and they know how hard he's worked. And I started thinking to myself, like, how many of these stories like actually stick? Like you get a chance. This guy's probably under-talented. And when I say under-talented, I don't mean that like as a huge slap in the face. In order to make the big leagues, Nick, you got to be pretty damn talented at baseball, period. I'm just saying he's not going to stand out amongst a bunch of big leaguers if they're out on a field, ever. But I do wonder, he might be a guy that he's had to grind for so long that he's just developed a skill set that is so damn good that he's going to stick. Maybe not. But it's like David Eckstein. Am I crazy for bringing his name up? Like, it just, in order to get to the big leagues, when you're that type of player, you got to have just unbelievable mental fortitude. And Hurtubise seems to have that because he looks like, in his mind, he belongs. He had a hell of a night tonight.
Yeah, on base percentage up to 385. So this guy's been an on base machine in the minors the last couple years. I mean, it's a very small sample, but I know there was a lot of talk. He's probably going to get blown away when he gets to the big leagues. Well, I've never felt one time like he was overmatched. I feel like the guy that's sitting behind him, who's incredible at Ellie De La Cruz, has looked a lot overmatched.
Right.
Jacob Hurtubise has it. The guy that's just the and that was not meant to be a slight on Ellie at all, but just, kind of comparing. He had a great game day. I mean, a double. I know it's like, I'm an analytic guy. I love that he laid down that bunt in the 8th inning to move, who was it? Espinal over to second base. Yep. Bunting, when you have a 2-run lead and you're trying to increase it to a 3-run lead, I think is always a good thing, because the difference in your win probability of being up 3 runs versus 2 runs is significant. I think sack bunting when it's a tie game or when you're down a run is terrible. You're wasting a chance to blow an inning open. But when you already have the lead, that's the time that the 1 run is so valuable. So I love that they did that. And it doesn't feel like there's like really a whole lot of people on this Reds team that can actually do something like that. So that's kind of a new skill we don't see very often. But Hurtubise is an awesome story. Me and Craig got to talk to him this offseason. So I'm certainly a little biased just because he was so kind to me and Craig with his time, and was just such an awesome guy. Like, when the camera went off, he just talked with us and was as genuine as they are. So you always root for a guy like that. But so far he's done a really good job, and been a nice little spark, which is what you were hoping when you called him up after playing like 8 minor league games this year because he had been hurt.
Yeah, the guy goes to West Point, and thankfully, fortunately for him, he got the situation where they have made the adjustment for the armed forces, where they've waived the service time until their professional careers are over. So Hurtubise still has to do service time at some point, but point being is, like, he's just never thought in a million years he probably would wind up in a big league uniform if you point blank asked him. But he's probably starting to convince himself, if he's not already there. I think he's already there personally, but he's starting to convince himself now to where he's just developed this skill set that it sticks. You watch his at bats, Nick, and he's so grimy and pesty. Like, he fouls pitches off. There's times where I get it. He hits a weak ground ball and it's an out, but it's like still 6-7 pitches. Maybe we're making too much of this, and people can laugh about how the fact we're talking about Jacob Hurtubise, and oh man, like, maybe you look back on the show in 2 years and you're laughing like, oh look, they were like trying to pump up Jacob Hurtubise. But he's one of those guys where I'll be honest, I'm not going to rule him out. Like, at this point, I'm not going to rule out the fact that he might just find a way to stick on a big league roster, more or less just as a guy that can go in and play good defense towards the end of a game. And if you need a good at bat, or you need to give a guy a day off, you're going to get consistent play from him. He's never going to be like you said, he'll never be Ellie De La Cruz, and there's a lot of people that never be like Ellie De La Cruz. But point is, he's not going to wow you ever. But I like the fact that he battles. I think he's a damn good hitter too, to be honest. Turned on that pitch today, hit a double. Started that was a big situation, a big time situation that he found a way to get a double in. So I think that ultimately led to I'm starting to get mixed up in innings, but that kind of led to them kind of starting to go down the bullpen train. Yeah,
it did.
Yeah,
and this is a really good pitcher tonight that he got 2 hits off of in Walker Buehler. I mean, this is a guy that just threw 6 dominant innings against the Reds, and Hurtubise turning on a double against him. So it's really cool to see. I really like the guy, and right now anyone that can get on base is a breath of fresh air. We'll see what it looks like when other guys get back, but right now keep running this guy out there, even against left-handed pitching. Give him a chance. Like, he deserves it. There's no one else that's really deserves it more. So
right.
Run out there, see if you can, have a guy that can get hot and kind of be that spark, and he's kind of been that so far.
Yeah, I last thing I'll say about Hurtubise is this. He feels like for a roster that seems like full of inconsistent type of players, he seems like a guy you know what you're probably going to get on a day in, day out basis. And he might not ever be an all-star, but I'll take the consistency over the feast or famine any day of the week. All right. Before we jump into Reds MILB, I do want to do a couple quick supers here that we got, and some of them are going to require some things here. So there is that. All right. Chris Ackerman said Hurtubise is a breath of fresh air. Love that guy. Yeah, right on topic. Right on topic. Didn't know that was planned, but that's nice. Brandon Holt, he says survive in advance. Go Reds. We're trying to advance right now. We've towed the line of surviving, but we're definitely advancing. And if we can win tomorrow, boy, your boy's going to come in here at 9:00, fired up. That's going to be an all-time show if that happens. I'm going to tell you right now. Daniel Myers says Fireball. I'll get you. You know what? I got your Fireball. You want Fireball? I'll do your Fireball. And is it bass or bass? Bass? Bass.
I'm going to go bass.
Bass. Bass face. Says Yamamoto hasn't been to Cincinnati yet. Nut cutter.
Hey.
I'm trying to track that one. No, he hasn't been to Cincinnati yet. Yeah, I don't know. Don't know if that's a good or bad thing.
He hasn't been to the grind that is Cincinnati. He hasn't
That's
had
right.
to stay in a Cincinnati hotel, wake up, and
Right.
his back be out of whack. And,
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Is that a downplay on our city or what is that? Like, I'm trying. Yeah, dude's never been in the clink before. Yeah, I don't know. All right. Here's. I tell you what we're gonna do. This is for Daniel, and you know who else this is for? I haven't even looked at the stats tonight. I don't have a clue in the world what this is, but I just want to say, Austin Hendricks. All right, Austin Hendricks. This is for you. This is for you. Is this big time? I haven't looked it up. This is for Austin Hendricks. Whatever he did tonight, I don't care. He might have went 0 for 7 with 7 strikeouts. He might have went 7 for 7 with 7 bombs. But by God, today I'm thinking of Austin, and I really do hope and pray that he gets an opportunity at some point to continue his journey through Major League Baseball. And by that, I mean, continue to do what he's been doing, which I'm going to stop talking because I'm going to start slandering people. But anyway, this is to Daniel and Austin.
let's go.
That stuff is, I'm not going to downplay it. It's a lot. But it is Fireball. No free ads. All right. Tonight's like tonight. Nick is he's fervently just scouring the internet, trying to make sure all the box scores are in there. A guy like me wouldn't worry about it. He'd just throw them up there. And if the stats are right, they're right. If they're not right, I'll just say they're not right. But you know what? I'm trying to buy Nick a little more time because I can see him. I've done this show long enough now to know when I look over to my right and I see Nick and he's got white and blue and red just popping all over his face. He's going from tabs so fast you don't know where he's at. He's just all over the place. He's going to the lookouts. He's going to the Tortugas. He's going to the bats who keep winning games with God who knows on their team. I don't know. Nick's trying to figure out how the bats are winning baseball games every night, and he's asking me like I know. I have no idea. They got Peyton Burdick. He had a 500-foot home run. That's all I know about the bats and the fact they got a couple other players that we care about. Nick, you got the Reds MILB ready?
I got literally one more guy to put in here.
All right, so now I'm going to keep buying some more time. This is the part of the show where it gets a little loony. A little loosey-goosey. We will do the who, what, when, where, and why. Don't go anywhere, okay? Don't go anywhere because there has been a change to the start time that we will talk about in just a minute. But before we do that, we're going to do the Reds MILB presented by Nick Kirby.
All right, we'll start off with the Triple-A Louisville Bats. They have won 14 of 17, now 29-21 on the season with a 9-3 win over Toledo. Blake Dunn, 1 for 5. Really good day for Reese Hines, 3 for 4. Drove in a run with a walk. Peyton Burdick, he stayed hot. He was 2 for 4. Alex Young, another scoreless inning. I believe that is 11 scoreless innings for him so far down at Louisville. Wonder when he's going to be activated. I believe June 1st is the day they have to make that decision. Zach Maxwell was absolutely dominant. I think almost all of his pitches were like 99 or 100. This was his second outing. Perfect 2 strikeouts. So you'll love to see that. Maxwell, he's going to be in the big leagues sooner rather than later, in my opinion. Chattanooga, they lost 11-7. But you know what? It doesn't matter on a night like tonight, Trace, because Austin Hendrick, you know what they said, Trace? They said the hell with it. We're putting him in the leadoff spot. Woo! They batted him leadoff, and he went 2 for 5 with a double. So shout out to Austin Hendrick. Ruben Ibarra also had his first good game. I think he got his first hit tonight, 2 for 3 with a double and a walk. So shout out to him. Dominic Patelli, he keeps getting on base. He was on base twice as well. Bubba Thompson back in the show that is Chattanooga. He was 1 for 5. Fortunately, Chase Petty, he had been pitching very well of late. Couldn't get out of the first inning. I haven't watched. I'll probably try to go back and watch since he only pitched 1 inning later tonight. But it looked like he just gave up single after single after single. There was an error, and then when you're in the minors, you don't get a chance to throw 50 pitches to get out of an inning. So we'll hopefully it wasn't anything too bad, but nonetheless, a disappointing start for Chase Petty, who had been on quite a roll of late. Dayton, they lost 4-3 to Quad Cities. Cam Collier did get a hit tonight. Ethan O'Donnell, he had a great night, 2 for 3 with a home run and a walk, 3 RBIs. Kind of guy that's kind of flown on the scene. Had a great year last year at Daytona. So really good to see Ethan O'Donnell getting back on track. Daytona, they won 9-8 over Fort Myers. Daytona's kind of been an up and down season for them, but they just won their 3rd straight. They're back to 500 at 22-22. Ricardo Cabrera has kind of been a guy that has maybe flown under the radar a little bit. He's the Reds' number 9 ranked prospect according to Pipeline. 2 for 5 today. Home run is 4th of the year, drove in 3 runs. He's hitting .290 with an .850 OPS through 37 games. Those numbers in that league are very good. You have to kind of always boost those stats because it's so hard to hit home runs in that league. Great day from Ariel Almonte. He was on base 4 times, 2 for 3 with a pair of doubles. And then Connor Burns, he was 2 for 4 with an RBI. And last but not least, our friends out in Arizona, the ACL Reds, they won again 7-4. Shang-In Lin was 2 for 4 with 3 RBIs. Sammy Stafura, 2 for 4 with 3 RBIs. And then Cole Schoenwetter, he was the Reds' 4th round pick last year, was really, really strong out of the gates. He only allowed 1 hit and a walk through the first 3 innings, had 6 strikeouts, but then he ran into trouble, gave up 2 hits to start the 4th, and then whoever came in after him let them both score. But overall, a solid outing from the Reds' 4th round pick from last season.
Cole Schoenwetter.
High school arm out of California, I believe. 4th round pick last year. So I wonder how it's so hard to know how long they're going to keep guys out in the complex. Like they kept Duno there pretty much all of last year. Sometimes they only have guys go there for a little while, and then they say we're going to bump them up. So it's really hard to know. You love to see him at least get to Daytona, because then you kind of feel like it's a little bit more of like official real games, and you kind of see, all right, this guy that was crushing it out in Arizona with nothing real around it. I don't even know this, Trace. Out in the complex league, they decide before the game if they're going to play like 7 innings, 8 innings, or 9 innings. They just decide. So it's never really going to go 7 innings. Yeah. So it's
just some unique names. Schoenwetter. Pretty big time.
Guys that are high on him. There's some guys that are high on him. So,
all right. We do have the who, what, when, where, and why. I teased it just a moment ago that they've moved first pitch. Don't show up to Great American Ballpark, Nick, at the proposed time that you seen yesterday. Let everybody know what time they can expect to be there.
Yeah, 12:10 p.m. I wish, Trace, they did this more often. I wish they would. All right, hey, yeah, we got no chance of getting this game in. Let's just move it up. I don't know. I wish they did this more. But yeah, they moved it up to 12:10 to hopefully avoid a lot of rain in the afternoon. Reds, I don't know if they said something in the post game. Obviously, I've been doing a show, so I haven't tracked that. But the Reds are supposed to be going to the bullpen game. Martinez and Spires will both be on 3 days rest, so I'm probably assuming both of those guys get in. So if you have both of those guys pitching, Trace, it's probably a little bit less of a straight bullpen game than not. But the Reds will be going up against Yoshinobu Yamamoto. I think I finally got it right. This is a guy, he dominated for 7 years in Japan, 1.72 ERA in 188 games. Dodgers must be nice, signed him for 12 years, $325 million, not including a $50 million posting fee this offseason. He was off to a really great start with the Dodgers. Last 2 starts, though, he has looked a little bit more human. 2 starts ago, he gave up 4 earned runs. This guy that has 7 pitches, 4-seam fastball, split finger, curveball, cutter, sinker, slider, and sweeper. Slider, sinker, and sweeper doesn't use as much. More of the 4-seam, split finger, and curveball. His 4-seam fastball tops out at 95. But nonetheless, this is a exciting pitcher across baseball. Me and Trace were talking about him before we went on. I'm excited to kind of watch this guy pitch because I haven't watched him pitch. I do a Red show every night, so don't really watch a whole lot of other baseball. But I kind of playing house money. The Reds beat Glasgow with the bullpen game last week, so why not us?
Why not us? By the way, we do have some other supers here really quickly that I want to get to. Jeremy Ward said, Abbott pitching tomorrow. Let's go. He's not. That's the thing. And if he is, then he's going to have an opener because Brent Suter is now the Reds starter, according to the official sources. So
Abbott's pitching on Tuesday against the Cardinals. They moved him back to preserve some innings.
Okay.
And Lodolo's going on Monday.
So there you go.
Screw the Cardinals. We're gonna throw out Lodolo and Abbott against them.
Take them to the woodshed. Take them where they belong.
Yeah.
To the bottom of the Central. That's where we need to put the Cardinals. All right. As always, we got a couple more things to get to. But I just want to say, likes, if you have not liked the show already, we appreciate everybody jumping in here. And, it's a Saturday on a Memorial Day weekend. We've had a lot of people in here. I just want to say, as always, thank you for supporting us and supporting this show. So, all right, Nick, got a pillow?
2 in a row?
Two in a row, man. Those are sweepy old slides.
All right. Oh, we made some contact.
Yeah, we finally got something back in there. All right. This is the part of the show where Trace needs to get some hotkeys so he just knows where everything is. But I started to figure it out. I think I got it. Enjoy your day tomorrow. Tomorrow is Sunday, and it's a situation where we're right on the precipice of a Memorial Day. And Memorial Day means one thing. It means you should be very, very grateful, thankful that you live in this country. And please remember why it is Memorial Day weekend, because that is also very, very important. Tomorrow, I want you just to realize that the Reds, they're not quite dead. And they're going to prove it tomorrow. The odds are stacked against them. I'm well aware that I'm going to go down to Great American Ballpark, and there's a good chance that they're not going to win, is what I'm told. But I'm not going to believe it. And you shouldn't believe it either, because why? When you have a lot of bad luck happen against you in life, at some point you break through and you have some good luck. And I think the Reds are about damn there. So here's this. I'm going to grab Memorial Day basketball. I'm going to dunk this. We're going to see y'all back here better than ever tomorrow at 9 o'clock. Go Reds.